tourist and the Pocong. James had always been fascinated by Southeast Asia, the food, the people, the untouched beauty of its rural landscapes. After weeks of traveling through Thailand and Malaysia, he found himself in a remote village in Indonesia, eager to experience local culture beyond the tourist spots. The villagers were welcoming, but they warned him about one rule: never wander outside after midnight. When he asked why, they simply said, "The dead don't rest here." James, thinking it was just an old superstition, ignored the warning. That night, unable to sleep due to the sweltering heat, he stepped outside for a smoke. The village was eerily silent. The only sound was the distant hooting of an owl. As he took a deep drag, he noticed something at the far end of the dirt road, a figure standing unnaturally still under the dim moonlight. It was wrapped in a white burial shroud, tied tightly at the head and feet, resembling a corpse prepared for burial. James squinted. Is that a mannequin? Then it moved, not walking, not crawling. It jumped, a stiff, unnatural hop. His breath hitched. His mind struggled to process what he was seeing. Another jump. Closer. His hands trembled as he fumbled for his phone to use the flashlight, but before he could turn it on, thump. It was suddenly just meters away. The face beneath the hood was pale, the mouth twisted open in an unnatural, silent scream. Its hollow, dead eyes locked onto him. James stumbled backward, dropping his cigarette. He turned and ran, his heart hammering, but the Pocong was faster. He barely made it inside, slamming the wooden door shut and bolting it. His breaths came in ragged gasps as he pressed his ear to the door, listening. Silence. Then, thump, right outside the door. James squeezed his eyes shut, clutching his chest as the air turned ice cold. A long, dreadful pause, then from the other side of the door. Don't ignore the warnings next time. A whisper. Rotten, right by his ear. Morning came, and the villagers found James pale and shaking in his room. He left the village that very day, never speaking of what he saw. But before he got on the bus, an old man approached him. "You saw it, didn't you?" the elder asked. James hesitated, then nodded. The old man simply smiled. "Then it knows you now." James never returned to Indonesia, but sometimes, even back home, he swears he hears a faint thumping outside his window at night.